So if we assume for a minute Ohtani's off the board, Yamamoto sounds like one of the New York teams or potentially Boston. Where does that leave the Giants in all of this to pivot? And I get a little nervous because when they pivoted last year, it turned into Haniger, Conforto, Manaea, Stripling, Jock, and Luke Jackson. So what will they do to pivot this offseason?
The free agent market was strong last year for shortstops, and then obviously Aaron Judge. And then after that, it just wasn't as deep. I think the mistake the Giants made was Correa, and then they flunked him on the physical, and they weren't in all the other good shortstops. So right away, if Shohei does go to the Blue Jays, John, my first reaction is what are the Dodgers going to do?
The problem is it's great that Ohtani's not going to be in that blue, but in Toronto blue, that's great. But then I think they're going to shift their attention to some of the guys that you could be after. I mean, when they bring Bellinger back, I don't know what kind of terms he left on. Blake Snell, Chapman, those are guys that have been tied to the Giants. So all of a sudden, are you battling with the Dodgers? And that's why...
That's the point, yeah.
Right, and that's why I was hoping that when it became clear, and I was kind of back and forth, last year when they could have traded for Ohtani was all in on it because maybe he would have stayed here and signed here. Obviously, the Angels went on a bit of a streak and they didn't end up bringing him in. But I was saying that, look, don't even look at Ohtani and go after Bellinger, go after Snell, go after Chapman when everybody else had their attention turned to him. So have they already been doing that? Because if you make a mistake, I have no issue with it. But if you do it again and again, I do. And they were out on Judge, and then the Correa thing happened, and they pivoted, and let's be honest, they spent some bad money last offseason. So did they learn the lesson, and are they already pivoting and down the road on a Bellinger, a Snell, a Chapman, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I think, of course, they've been talking to other agents, and a lot of these guys are represented by Scott Boras, but they've been talking to agents. They just had to wait on Ohtani. So I think the industry, if he signs sometime tonight, the industry is going to start flying now. You're going to have a lot of agreements in principle, and they're going to have to take physicals, but you're going to see a crush and the pitchers are a separate category. I mean, Gurriel Jr.'s out there, Teoscar Hernandez. I don't think, now that Jack Peterson's gone, would you be in on Tommy Pham? Jorge Soler's out there. We know, obviously, Matt Chapman. I don't think there's a need for Justin Turner. Rhys Hoskins would be an interesting name.